What's good, everyone? It's Uncle Phil here, aka Artist of Truth. Come on in. This is a teachable moment, and I'm glad that you are here, okay? Because you're going to learn today. So, in Pickens, Alabama, a 24-year-old was arrested for looking suspicious. He was on the side of the road changing a tire, and an officer that goes by the name of Dana Elmore apprehended this man because he was looking suspicious. I didn't know looking suspicious constitutes as a crime, but okay, we're gonna see how this unfolds. But he was in cuffs on the officer's hood, and she tased him again and again, even while he was screaming and he was crying again, and then told him to shut his bitch ass up. Like, if that's not a power struggle that she's dealing with, I don't know what it is. But today, and to the family, to the people down in Pickens, Alabama, Uncle Phil is here to put the necessary information in your hand, so you can take the necessary action to go and punish her and see to it that she never police or puts another uniform on in any of the 50 states. You ready? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, every officer has a bond. This is why when you are stopped, and if you feel personally that your rights are being violated, ask for these three things. Because technically, they're public officials and they are obligated to give you that information. Name, badge number, and performance bonds number. Better known as surety bonds number. They know what that is. They'll play with your intelligence and act as if they don't know what the hell you're talking about. But Uncle Phil is going to go a little deeper in depth and just read off a very, very interesting code that maybe many folks don't even know about. Okay? So what the purpose of the bond is to protect people who have been injured or unalive at the hands of these public officials. When you have been wronged, these bonds are here for you to be compensated and for you to be able to sue them. Not only will the state pay you, but you can sue that individual. You think I'm lying? Yeah, I'll do y'all one better, right? So let me just go ahead. I'm just gonna turn. I'm gonna turn my computer around. Pardon me. I gotta show you, because this is a learning experience, right? So we're gonna learn this together, ladies and gentlemen. So we can stop being afraid. Stop being afraid of these officers, because when you can actually push back lawfully and punish them, that's when folks start tightening up. All right. So here we go. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to get a good look at this. Hopefully you'll be able to read it. Apparently they're not allowing me to zoom, but that's either here or there. Let me see. Oh, yep, I can zoom in on here. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, now this is a Georgia code, but this type of code exists in all states, right? So as you can see, this is a Georgia code. So for my people in Georgia, trust and believe this message applies to you as well. especially after what happened with the elder dealing with this bogus APD. But as you can see, this is Title 45. This is Georgia Code 45-424. Public officers and employees. Official bonds. Bond obligations of principal and surety conditions required for the existence of cause of action on bond. Right? So, what does it say here? So, under universal citation, right? What it states here, every official bond executed under this chapter is obligatory on the principal and sureties thereon. Number one, for any breach of the condition during the time the officer shall continue in office or discharge the duties thereof. Number two, for any breach of the condition by a deputy, although not expressed in such bond unless other declared by law. Number three, for the faithful discharge of any duties which may be required of such officer by law passed subsequent to the execution of such bond, although no such condition is expressed therein. Number four, for the use and the benefit of every person. Catch this. For every person who is injured either by any wrongful act committed under color of his office or by his failure to perform or the improper or neglect performance of those duties imposed by law. You hearing it, and you can see it for yourself. So the more and more I kept scrolling down, things just started showing up, and then I started remembering interactions with many people out there in the world dealing with these overseers and not being able to hold them liable. So let's see, what does this say? I want to make sure I get this information. Bam. Applicable only to official bonds. Under the provisions of this section, bonds of public officers are conditioned for the use and benefit of every person who is injured by the principal under color of office. But as to statutory penalty bonds, which are not bonds of public officers, this provision does not apply. And a member of the public who is injured by the principal's failure to observe the conditions of the bond cannot sue the principal and the surety on such bond to collect damages for such wrongful act when the statutes give that person no right to bring such an action, right? Now, as we proceed to give you what you need, ooh. So as you continue to scroll down, because they will give you, the information about liabilities of public officers when they're actually within their bounds, they're actually within their duties and they're not violating it. It shows it here. But then I want you all to see something, and I want you to hear this very, very clearly. So if you ever come across a deputy that refuses to give you the information, go after the sheriff. Because see here, sheriff liable for improper acts of deputies. An improper act done by a sheriff's deputy under a pretended or supposed right, which does not exist, would as a color official act render the sheriff liable to anyone aggrieved. Okay? Wrongful act during attempted arrest. An officer shooting at occupants of an automobile who have fled from an attempted arrest for a misdemeanor illegal transportation of liquor commits a wrongful act under color of office. That's Copeland versus Dunhu. Let's see. Liabilities for injuries inflicted during performance of official duties. This section providing that official bonds shall be for the benefit of persons injured by the principal must be read with the conditions of such bond, obligating the officials to well and truly perform the duties of their office, and refers to such liabilities as arise within the proper indentment of the obligation. Suit for a wrongful act by a sheriff or deputy. A suit may be brought upon the sheriff's bond for any wrongful act committed under color of his office by the sheriff or a deputy. And such a bond is what? Obligatory upon the principal and the sureties thereon. Like, they hear. Sheriff liable for failure to take the bond from the deputy. The sheriff was required by former code 1933 subsection 24-2811. Now OCGA subsection 1516-23 to take a bond from a deputy and for failure to discharge the sheriff's duty in this respect may be held liable after the sheriff's retirement from office by any person who has been injured. Like, wow. And it's right there, ladies and gentlemen. Stop being scared. Like, stop being scared and push back and punish these individuals. Like, we have to get out of this fearful mindset. Daggone it, I was looking for something. Oh, and catch this one. Unless act constitutes breach of official duty, when an arresting officer who has a prisoner under arrest kills the prisoner unlawfully and without provocation, the officer commits a breach of official duty, and there is a liability upon the officer's official bond to the statutory beneficiary of the dead man for damages for the homicide. Okay. There you go. There you go. Stop being fearful. Let these officers know who really has the power. And the power belongs to the people. They're supposed to be technically peace officers. But as you can see, they're not keeping the peace. They are disturbing the peace. So remember, Uncle Phil loves you. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't even tell you that. But yeah, Uncle Phil loves you, baby. Shit never changes. Not at all.